So I fixed up this old Craftsman here. Runs great now, but I need a deck. So let's head out here to the junkyard. Excuse me. And nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Somewhere around here. Nope. 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 There it is. Ain't she a beauty? Let's take a look at this thing here. See. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Bearings seem to be good there. Missing a shaft. That one's locked up, of course. Lots of rust. Still feels pretty solid. I think we can bring this deck back to life. Yep, it's locked up. Alright. Because overall, it's pretty solid. I mean, no, hasn't rusted through anywhere, so that's good. So yeah, let's bring this thing back to life. Oh, I'm gonna need some help. Oh man, I just noticed this back bracket is broken. It's welded in the front there on both sides, and then it's attached in one spot here in the back. Yikes. Alright. Look at all that metal that's coming off of it. It's just coming off in flake. Still seems solid. So Ernest doesn't think I can restore this deck. He thinks it's too rusted. But then I showed him this. I weigh over 200 pounds. I can walk on this thing. There's one rust hole. But I can walk on this thing without it, and jump on it without it flexing, so we're still good. I'm gonna restore it, Ernest, whether you like it or not. Knock some of that rust out. Yep, that got some more off there. I think the first thing I should do is weld this bracket here. Alright, so let's clean that up. She's a beauty, alright. So this is what the underside looks like where I need to weld. I've already been cleaning it a little bit with a wire brush, but I need to do a little more. But I've noticed it's pretty thin, the metal around there, so I won't just be able to weld it. I'll probably have to add some metal. I'll probably add a washer of some sort. Getting better. I think I'm going to call that good for the underside here. Watch this. A lot of metal coming off. We're still good. Let's see what we have to do there. So I'm not sure how... So I'm not sure how I can get back there to sand it down. Got one of my files here from Grip Tools. Works great. I think I'm going to just try and file it. Get back in there with this file. Well, it was a tedious process, but I think I scraped off enough rust here to where I can do some welding. Okay, so I brought the welder out here. Got to get some power, so I'm going to rob the chicken coop. Okay. Cleaned off a spot here on the deck for my clamp.
I'm not a welder, but I play one on YouTube.
So I think I'm happy with that for the bottom. It's not the most beautiful weld, but I've added a lot of metal and I think it's sturdy. Doesn't look so great, but it is sturdy, I guarantee it. I also did some welding on this side to strengthen things up a bit. A little bit of primer and a little bit of paint. I think what I'll do next is just clean this entire deck off once the paint dries. Well, crap. It looks like right here the one side of that bracket has broke loose here, so I'm going to have to weld that too. Darn it. There we go. We're good. Okay, we'll see what happens here. It's a 7/8. It's just spinning. I'll have to hold the blade from the other side. So I was able to get it off by holding the blade and using my power wrench here. And I should just be able to beat that shaft out of there, but I don't want to damage it because I think it's still usable. Okay, let's see if I can hammer that shaft out of there. I'll put on the nut here so I don't damage the threads. That sucker is locked in place. Dang it. Alright, plan B. Plan B is to use a little bit of penetrating lube and let it sit for a while. We'll see how that goes. Well, I'm tired of waiting, so I'm just going to grab a bigger hammer. Sometimes that is the solution to all your problems. Hope I didn't booger anything up. Nope, we're still good. But we did make some headway, as you can see. Oh, alright. This time I mean business, baby. Yep, we're out. There we go. And I think this shaft is still good. The spline up here is in good shape. Pretty sure it's in good shape down here as well. But now, as you can see, we still have the two bearings installed on this side. And on this side, the one bearing is already fallen out somewhere along the line, but we still have the other one down there. You can see we have a lot of rope we have to take off here. But to get these bearings out, you can see it down in there. I think I'm just gonna hammer those suckers out. Old school style, folks. Old school. There it is. I'll get the number off of this in order 2. And we're missing the bearing on that side, but this side has both the upper and lower bearing. I'm gonna have to get something skinnier to poke down in there to take these out. This should work. Yep, that was able just to poke it out that way. Now we'll poke out that one. Use my old rubber hammer again. There we go. So you can see the bottom bearing is bigger than the top. I'll get the numbers off these and order one of each. Both housings are still good, but they do need to be cleaned out, sanded and whatnot, the bearing surface. Our actuator pulley still moves. I'm doing it, Ernest. All right, Ernest, one more test to prove to you that this deck is solid. There you go, Ernest. No cracks. I can still stand on it. I'm gonna fix it, Ernest. I've soaked this baby up. I'm going to wash it, scrub it down, get it ready to paint. I'm just out here waiting for this thing to dry. So I ordered 2 each of the bearings. We have a 6203 and a 6204. Check it out, I have doves spying on me here. All primered. Good enough. Voila, painted. It's time to clean out these bearing surfaces a bit, so it's easy to install the new ones. I also sanded off this shaft really good. A lot of times the bearings get stuck on these shafts. I got lucky. This is the new one, and it does stop right there. I'm a little worried about that, but hopefully it'll press on. Put a little bit of oil in there on the shaft here. Looks like the bearing will go in there pretty good. It's just a matter of whether that shaft will go into the bearing. Yeah, it's going. Had to coax it a little bit. Now all these bearings are sealed on both sides, so you don't need to put any grease in there. Hey, look at that. That little dude. Oh man. Oh jeez. That was a pain in the butt. Must have been stripped or something. We're good now. Now we just have to do the other side. So for that other shaft, I'm going to start taking parts off of this old deck. I think it's seen its last days. So I'm going to try to take out this shaft here. And I'll need the pulley as well and the blade. Alright, I hope this goes well. far so good. Alright, hopefully this shaft will come out of here easy. So I'll try it like this first, just to see if I can lightly tap it out of there. Never do I get that lucky. So I'm going to use this punch here so I don't damage the threads. Get it right in the center here.
Gonna have to look at it for a while. That'll help me keep it centered. Look at
With these pulleys, you just want to make sure and check the splines that they're still good. These are still good. And the splines on the shaft, you want to make sure that they're still good too. These are. Man, I sure feel lucky that the bearings came off. A lot of times they're like rusted on there. That's the telephone, don't mind that. We don't answer that. Sand off this shaft really good. Not quite sure what's going on here with the chickens, but it's chaos. It's chaos on the farm. All right. You see there's some pitting down here. I want to make sure and try to get as much of that as I can. Well, I might sharpen them. Chickens! This bearing's going on a little bit easier on the shaft. That's good. You like my hammer? There we go. That's seated. Well, I guess it's time to take this thing off. Come on. Yeah. Now I'll do the same thing, hold the blade and crank it down. All right. Whew. So this little component here is one of the blade brakes. When you disengage the deck, these things have a little shoe that pushes up against the pulleys and stops the pulley from turning. You don't really need them. It's kind of a safety component. So I'll take that off. Yeah, we don't need that. We didn't even have one on the other side, so it's not a big deal. I think we have a lawnmower deck. What do you think? I think so. What do you think, Ernest? I decided I need to do something with these blades, sharpen them or put new ones on or something. Since I went to all the trouble to rebuild the deck, you know. Whoa. You can see another thing you want to check on the shafts is that the little star pattern on the very bottom here is still a star pattern and in good shape, and these both are. I found a couple of blades here. One of them's new, the other one's pretty darn close to new, so we're going to use these. Well, this deck doesn't look too bad after all, does it, Ernest? I think it's going to work just fine. Let's see if we can get this old mower to fire up for us. Ran when parked. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Choke. Come on, baby. Ah, dead battery. Okay. Let's check to make sure we have the brackets down here. Okay, yep, that bracket's there. And it looks like we have the bracket on the other side, and I know this is the cable. I think the only brackets we're missing are the two arms that come from the front here. I'll have to try and find some of those around here. Found a couple. They're the same for each side. Well, guess I'm gonna need a belt. Looks like we gotta bend this guy back into shape. Oh! You'll want to lube up this pivot point real good. This is lithium grease. Both the pulleys are still in good shape. Perfect. Want to make sure they're up tight against the pulley, because those are the belt keepers there. Here's the part number on the belt. I also realized that the actuator pulley, which one is it? This one. There's supposed to be a spring that goes here and there that pulls it this way, because the wire pulls it this way, and then when you disengage it goes back to this position. So I had to order one of those. I got it from Oregon. Here are the part numbers on the spring. Alright, got that spring on. Now our actuator pulley is returning like it's supposed to. Then they show you the pattern here on the deck, how to route the belt. You can just push it down on the inside of those belt keepers. It's real important to get the belt on the inside of the keepers. Sometimes I see that people will miss one and it'll chew up the belt right away. So that's the belt configuration, just like that. Let's test this baby out. You can push it in from either side, but I'm going to go with this side. Okay, go ahead and lower the deck brackets here. Mount up this bracket first. Okay, that one's on. Okay, so that one's on. That one on. Got this back one on. Go ahead and hook up this one. There we go. I'm all out of washers, so I'm just going to put this clip on for now. Oh, I did find a washer. There we go. And now this guy. Ow! So the cable and the spring at the end of it goes on top of this pulley here, and then you put a washer and a clip on top. So you just put the spring on, put the washer on top. Find a little clip. That's the setup, believe it or not. And over here on this side is where you attach the other part of the cable. And a long, kind of a funky looking clip is what they use for that. Just pull the cable. You can see it just slips into place. This little piece goes over the end, and then the clip goes in a certain way, just like this. You know what, folks? We're ready to try this thing out. Not so fast, sucker. You still got to put on the belt. All right. Well, that's easy. Put the belt on. You just want to make sure it's on the inside of that keeper. And then you just work it onto the pulley. There we go. We're on. I think I need to bend this. I think I need to bend this belt keeper back a little bit towards the pulley. Looks like it kind of got bent out of shape. That's a little better. Time to put the belt guard back on here. Okay. Moment of truth. Ernest, works great.